Okay, I think we might be live. I'm checking here. And oh crap, I'm getting. All right, I'm gonna try it this way. All right, I'm gonna try it this way. I can't do that either. All right, I'm gonna try it this way. I can't do that either. Okay. Give me just a second here. Give me just a second. Wow, that should be fun for everybody. I apologize. No. Okay, this shows. All right, now it's time for you to tell me whether you can hear me or not. Because I had to turn my sound off completely, even though I had a headset on. I thought it was going to be doable. Ha ha ha. Strip and like I said, this is my first time. I apologize. I know this is really awkward and rough, and I'm watching comments now and hoping that I didn't kill anybody's eardrums. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, I don't know. First off, can you see me? And second off, can you hear me? This shows that we're waiting. Why are we waiting? Okay. I'm so glad I have peeps too, but can people hear me? Can they see me? Am I live? Okay, all right. Well, then, refresh. I did not know to do that. Okay. I can't see you. Nope, not here. See you live at. Wow. Okay. Well, that's really frustrating. I'm going to fix this so that I can make sure that things are going through. And this is one of those live and learn moments. Nope. That didn't work for me. Oh, honest to Pete. Live now, okay. All right. I now can see the feed, and I now can see you guys and my computer. I have my computer sound off, so yeah. I'm hoping that we have fixed the reverb. Okay, and I apologize. Like I said, this is my first time. All right. Okay. First time, yeah. First times are insane. Really, they really are. And I have been terrified of getting started here. People say I'm still echoing. My computer sound is completely off. All right. I'm going to try the USB mic again. All right, I don't know that that's going to be better because I'm getting... Nope, that's not going to work. Okay. Yes. All right, so I apologize, and this is going to be awful for the people who are coming in later and watching because I don't think there's any way that I can clip all that dead stuff off the front. But I am here today to let you know a little bit about the upcoming class that I've got, which is how to write a novel. And a little bit of a funny story. There we go. This seems like it should have been the obvious first class that I did. And because I was a novelist before I was anything else, that's where I started. It just didn't occur to me to write a how to write a novel class. And I can't even tell you why. I can't. I asked people what they were most interested in way back when I started writing classes, and the thing that they were interested in most after How to Create a Character, which was the first class I did, was how to think sideways, the process that I used for coming up with ideas and brainstorming and then building my career and all of that. And so I've been making courses for years now, and it never actually dawned on me until Matt said, well, why don't you ask them if they'd be interested in a class about writing a novel? And I thought, I could do that. I wasn't expecting quite the excited bunch of feedback that I got. And I am really excited about the really good feedback that I got. And if you downloaded the little syllabus that I put together, well, actually it's a 20-page syllabus that I put together, you should be able to see what I'm planning. But yes, okay, we do have some questions, but let me give you a little bit about the first version of this class. I do splinters classes first, which means that we acknowledge up front that the lessons are going to have typos, that the lessons are going to have things that are broken in them because I am writing them at a pace that is very fast. I am attempting to keep up with the class this time with one lesson a week because there are 35 weeks and I want to be able to get the class done in a timely fashion. And there are 35 weeks so far. If you guys ask me questions that are about things that I haven't covered in syllabus, then there are going to be things more than that. So, this class, however, is really special because it is the biggest course I have ever done. Bigger than How to Think Sideways, bigger than How to Write a Series, bigger than How to Revise Your Novel. This is big. I thought it was going to be 8 weeks. I thought that would be easy because I didn't really think there was much that I hadn't covered, and discovered that there was pretty much everything in the world that I hadn't covered where writing novels was concerned. So, what makes this class special is, first, each lesson is designed so that you can read it and do it in 1 week. And I might have to fine-tune that as we're going through, which is why there's the Splinters class. If I think that something is doable in a week and it is tanking all of you guys and you are needing 3 or 4 weeks to do the work, then I will have to go back and rebalance and Um, so I need a group of people coming through here that are trying to keep up with the class, who really want to finish the whole novel in 35 weeks. That's the second thing. In this class, we are specifically going to be focusing on writing the novel and having it done by the time the class is done, so that when I do the last lesson, you write your ending with that lesson, and 35 weeks from when we start, you'll have a book. Because doing this is how you learn to do this. This is learning to walk by falling down. And I am going to make it as not falling down as possible, by showing you all the places where I fell down, and then helping you to avoid those, so that it doesn't take you 7 years to get. Well, it really did take me 7 years to write the novel. It took me 6 months to write it, and 7 years to fix it, because I made all of the mistakes that I'm going to do my very best to show you how not to make. Okay, so the weekly assignment. This class, as with all of my classes, has live forums, but I really, really want to focus this time on making sure that you use the forums on a per lesson basis. You'll have some things that you can post on the forum as a student that other people will be also posting their stuff, and it's designed to allow you to maybe see what you've missed, get it from somebody else's perspective, because classes are a brain dump for me, basically, where I'm taking everything the way it runs through my mind and trying to translate it into something that you can use. But my mind and your mind are not the same. So being able to do that translation sometimes doesn't work from my perspective, but sometimes there are people who think differently than me, but who still get what I'm saying, who can then translate. So this is where the forums are going to be really, really valuable. And, okay, beyond that, I've got some stuff, man. I've got some really cool stuff. And one of the things that I am doing for the first group, which is going to have an early launch, and by early, my dates on this, let me see my calendar, are September 13th through October 3rd is what I have planned as the launch for this. And in that time, I promised people that they would have both a 1st of the month and a 15th of the month in the launch dates, so that they would be able to get in. You know, even I know some people get paid twice a month, some people get paid once a month, and there will be a later launch for this too. I want basically as many folks in it as possible in the first launch, but only the folks who understand that, you know, the lessons are not going to be perfect the first time through. I will go back through and fix them as I get the class finished. But the first time through, that's why you get a really good price, and that's the other thing. I had mentioned a price on the forums, and I'm actually going to come in a little better than that. What I'm going to do for the first group of people through is $47 a month for 8 months, which is just a little bit less than what I had said. I was planning on 50, because 50 was what How to Think Sideways launched at years ago. And I wanted to do that because I thought that was really good. But 47 is just a tiny little bit better than that. And this is big. Matt said, hey, you know, you're going to have a bunch of people who have first draft novels, and maybe they would like a content edit. And I said, well, yeah, maybe, but, you know. He said, well, how about if I, just for the first group of people through, give them a really special price. And if you have been to mattcontentedits.com, you know that his prices are really very good for content edits. They start at, if you're not a student, $1,000, $997 for 100,000 words. And if you are a student, there are various breakdowns for big classes and stuff like that. But nobody has never done anything like this. The people who do this will get an 80.2% discount on his price, which is he will do a full content edit on the novel you write for this class for $197. And we talked back and forth on this because, it's his time and it's very important to me and somewhat less important to him. And he said, no, this is what I want to do. And I said, all right, then let's do that. So that's the basic bonuses, and there's always a class lesson bonus, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it should be. So what we're going to do is you're going through, the folks who are going through this class, the early bird, the super early bird class, are going to pick the bonus. And you're going to brainstorm, you're going to come up with a bonus, or I'm going to come up with a bonus, or whatever, but this is, at the end of it, the folks who go through first are the ones who are going to decide the bonus that I build at the end of the class. And I've done that before, and it has worked out really well. People have gotten some very good bonuses. So now it is time for questions, and I have some questions. So Linda says, I'm so excited for this, I can't stand it. My biggest problem in longer fiction is getting an additional neither can I read nor speak. My biggest problem in longer fiction is getting an initial idea I love, but then getting stuck. Looks like you're covering that, though. Yes. Oh my God. I am so excited. I have the first lesson almost finished, actually. And the first lesson is building your idea. And obviously, a flash fiction idea and a short story idea and a novel idea are not the same. And honestly, there is very little similarity between any of the three. To support a novel, you have to have multiple characters, multiple conflicts, several different story arcs, more settings. But it's not just bigger. It's not just quantitatively bigger. It is qualitatively bigger. You are doing different things, and you are doing them in different ways. So the first lesson, I've got a game, and we are going to start by playing a game, and it's a fun game. I've already got my demo done. I've already got most of the lesson written, and the worksheets are almost finished, and I'm happy. I am really happy about this because you are going to have such fun doing it, and you are going to get such cool results. Okay, next question. Lots of good content, but different novels, different speeds, different genres with different requirements. How can we cover it all? How? I can't envision the process and estimate the student commitment. Okay, that's reasonable. I'm going to recommend that the folks who go through, take this class, do a 50,000-word novel. I know that may not be the length of the novel that you want to write, but the objective of writing novels is to write novels plural, not just a novel. So I am recommending that for the novel for this class, you consider it taking a chance on something you haven't tried before, and going through at 50,000 words and doing a story at the recommended number of words per week, and just see how that goes. Now, I know there are people who won't do that. And there are always people who, they are comfortable with jumping in, going bigger, and then cleaning up afterwards. And as one of these people myself, I know about the jump first, look later approach. And that's fine too. That is a legitimate way to learn. You tend to skin things and break things and hurt things, and you know, those stories I tell about falling out of trees and off of vines and bicycles, and those are all true. I have cool scars from my many years of doing that. So yeah, you know, the jump first, look afterwards approach works too. But if you want to be able to estimate your commitment, then I'm going to recommend that you do about, I figured this out, and I might be misspeaking here, but I think it comes out to about 800 words a week of fiction to get the book done in time. And again, I don't, maybe no, I think it's 1,500 words a week, and it comes out to, you know, 500 words a day if you're doing. Okay, here I am proving my absolute lack of facility with math. 300 words a day. Okay, 5 days a week, or, you know, 750 if you're doing 2 days a week. But I am setting up so that you can have actual word count schedules, and so that you can see how you can keep up with the class. All right, next question. I have the How to Think Sideways course and love the info included there, including the sweet spot map. How does this class differ or expand on the concepts? Well, How to Think Sideways was not actually ever supposed to be about writing a novel. I used writing a novel as my demo, but it wasn't actually the best possible demo, because that entire class was about developing your thought processes so that you could operate a functional writing career. Like I said, I didn't actually go at this in the most logical sequence, but I just answered the question that people wanted to be answered to most of the time, which was how to build a writing career. So this class, you aren't actually going to be building a sweet spot map. This is a completely different process, because this is exclusively steps for writing a novel. And as far as I know, having gone through and looked at all of the questions that I have so far, and having set up all of the lessons as I have them now, I don't think that I've repeated any material at all. Like I said, okay, now I'm not doing anything on marketing in this class. I am not doing anything on career building in this class. I'm not doing anything on revision in this class. This is exclusively working through and building your novel. So, and that's different, you know, and I know that's different. It's just, might be a little surprising to folks to see how very different it is. Oh boy, and there are two streams. Okay, well, I just discovered that there are two streams, the live stream and then the stream in the wrong chat room. And I am back in the wrong chat room. Okay, but Becky is catching questions for me, and I'm hoping she's catching them in the right chat room. Okay, let me see. Sarah had, no, somebody else, daily account, I don't know what that is, has the following question. How do I know where to start my story? What scene? On the death or prior to the deathbed of the elderly? Oh, okay. This is, first chapters are funny. First lines are funny. First scenes are funny. When you write a novel, the first scene you write is very often a placeholder, because with a novel you don't know the true story you're telling until you've gotten to the end, until you have written the final page. So what you need to get started is just a start, and it isn't necessarily going to be the start you're going to keep. You do not have to commit to the perfect first line, or the perfect first page, or the perfect first chapter. These things in first draft are utterly irrelevant. What you have to do is find a place where you introduce a character who is in the middle of doing something interesting, something important, something compelling, and you move the character through that scene to a conflict and then a change. And we will go through this in depth in class, but the first start is nowhere near as important as people make it out to be. Okay. Second, the show don't tell lesson would be a good idea to learn this one of the first lessons. It would, but there is so much content. There is so much in the class, and there are so many things that are more important than that, believe it or not. That was the earliest I could find a place to fit it in without preempting something that's actually more important than that. I don't know. I will think about rearranging. You know, that is a legitimate question, but it's just once you start seeing some of the ways that things are coming together, you're going to find that a lot of what you're doing just accidentally is showing instead of telling. But this show don't tell is going to show you where you missed. Okay, next question is Karen, who says, will there be a way of using this course with how to write a series? Something like a proof sheet maybe where we can see where the how to write a novel techniques link to the octopus map, for example. I hadn't actually thought of doing that. This is a very different process than writing a series. Standalone fiction, which is what this class will cover, requires a different mindset, and series fiction requires a different mindset. You know, there is go long, and then there's go really, really, really long, and pull things in from previous episodes, and there's just, you don't, the octopus map, for folks who don't know, is a way of plotting a series. And you do one octopus map, and then you do a bunch of quadrants in which you figure out what each book in the series needs to contain. And it works very well. It has gotten me through the Longview series to the very end, and I have a character right now who's being a pain in the ass. But aside from that, everything's going pretty well. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased and kind of excited with how that series is coming together. But it's not the same process. So I'll see if I can figure out some ways to connect the two. But as writing flash fiction is not the same as writing a short story, or as writing a short story is not writing the same as a novel. Writing a novel is not the same as writing a series. So, yeah, I'll work on it. Okay, Amy says, will this class work best with a new project, or will it work best with an existing or in-progress idea? I highly, highly recommend that you do a fresh project. Now, you can go from, if you had an idea and you haven't started writing on it, that's fine. And if you want to, when you are doing lesson 1, have some of this in your back of your mind as you're doing the lesson itself and the exercises, that's cool. But you might find that, I definitely don't recommend using an existing project, because you will bring to that mistakes that you have already made and problems that are already kind of set in concrete. And once you have done a novel without the already existing material that you have to work around, then you'll be able to go back and look at that, find the already existing material, see where there are problems and identify them and fix them. But this time, the first time through, I strongly recommend starting from scratch. And, you know, I have no qualms whatsoever about saying, hey, you know, if you had an idea in the back of your mind, and when you play the game in lesson 1, if that idea is still in there, then sure, use that. But don't demand that your muse use that. If you come up with something that you like even better, go with that. Okay. Let's see. Research paralysis. Oh, this is will record. Research paralysis. Whenever I start a story, I'm always overwhelmed by how much I don't know about a story, so I don't end up writing it. My question is, how do we handle research? With a pitchfork and a flaming torch. This first draft, you're going to be writing light. You are going to be writing, if you are following closely to the class, you're going to be writing about 50,000 words. There is not, you are not going to be doing massive amount of research, but actually, I don't think I have research as one of the questions on my list. And how to do research without getting buried in it is a really good lesson. So, CH, research. Okay. I think we probably have our first additional blue lesson in the class, because that is, in fact, a fine question, how not to get it buried. Okay. All right. All right, next question is, will setting, world building, and or entwining the plot arc with a larger world series of events be covered? Okay. I'm not entirely certain, but, okay, setting, world building. This is not how to write a series, but I don't think that's the question, so I'm just trying, give me a second here. Okay, well, setting, world building, and or entwining the plot arc with a larger world series of events. Okay, series of events, that's the thing. Yes. Yes, how you get your story, your multiple story arcs to intertwine, yes. That is definitely in there, that's under story arcs. Okay, and how to figure out what genre you want to tell your story in. Yep, got that covered too. We will be working with not just genres, but specifically the exact, precise genre in which your story needs to fit, defined by you. You get to decide what elements of a genre you bring into your story. You get to decide how you present them, and you are never, ever, ever locked into anybody else's definition of a genre or what it needs to be about. All right. Deb, hey, I haven't seen you in ages. Hi there. Ideas and character motivation is my big stumbling block. I can't seem to come up with compelling enough motivation to carry a novel. Yeah, we got that. Motivation is, it's going to come out in the game in episode 1, or in lesson 1, rather. My mind is in episodes now because of podcasts, and I keep thinking in terms of episodes. But in lesson 1, you will develop the vast majority of your story motivation by playing the game. Okay, next is Svenja. I always have lots of ideas, but never know how to go on from there. Can the course help with that? Yes, because one of the things that you learn from playing the game is how to expand the idea, connect all the little pieces together, and then start writing. This game, by the way, has a name. The name is Artifact. Let's see, Sarah Wolf. Sorry. Your outline has something about an idea not being big enough for a novel. If our brainstorming gives us just a flash of an idea, can we still work with just a small idea? No, small ideas won't support novels, but the game will not allow you to get through the game without having an idea that's actually big enough to sustain the novel. Okay, and then, will this class work regardless of genre? That's Mark. Yes, absolutely. This is genre agnostic. I'm not particularly fond of that use of the term, but it is fairly accepted now. So, yeah, any genre will work with this, and will work well. Okay, Katie says, is this a beginner's only course? I've written 18 novel-length works, but I like to learn new things, especially from you. Thank you. No, this is designed to be beginner to advanced. As with all of my big classes and most of my small ones, I throw everything I know in, and some of the stuff is over the heads of folks who are going through it the first time. But I do my very best to make sure that every lesson has both basic and advanced techniques. And I do my very best to cover all of the different variances that you can make with this. So it's not, yeah. I'm trying to come up with a really good analogy here, and I've got nothing. But no matter what stage you are in your writing career, you know, unless you are a New York Times bestseller who is, you know, storming the charts and maintaining your place at the top, you probably don't have a lot you can learn from me. But my approaches are unique, and even if you have 18 novels done, I'm still learning. I still learn with every book I write. I learn something new, and I bring all of that into the class. Okay, let's see. Amy says if you have, okay, here we go. Will says that was a technical note, and I have eliminated the problem, so I assume that my sound is much better now. Okay, how to figure out the best time period for your story. That is one of the questions you will answer while playing Artifact in Lesson 1. Okay, how to transition from beginning to middle to end. This is several lessons. This is not the transition scene question, but there are several different lessons that cover how you maintain your suspension of disbelief and your tension and your characterization and your plotting, and how you move through the story and how you move multiple stories through the book. This is a very large part of writing a novel. So this is one of the biggest things that we will be covering, and we will be covering it in a lot of different places and in a number of different ways. All right. Jennifer says, I use a basic outline and discovery write between guideposts. I've noticed that when I open up new questions randomly as I discovery write, it can make it hard to tie everything off when I get to the end. We will learn how to tell the difference between good new open questions and questions that make it too hard to finish without a major revision. Yes. Yes, because you are not the only person that has had that happen. There are multiple things that can pull you off of your story. A new character who shows up and says, hi there. I've got something cool to show you, and turns out to be a story wrecker, much like the home wrecker in many novels and TV series. The siren song of the character who says, hey, hey. So there are plot elements, there's the wake up in the middle of the night, oh my God, that's an awesome new idea. There are just, as you're writing along, this little ping in the back of your mind says, oh, you should try that. And you try that, and you end up deleting 60,000 words twice on deadline. I don't recommend that. So yeah, this is, not only is this a problem I've had, but this is a problem that we will be dealing with not having. Okay, Bonnie says, I have a hard time driving to the end, world building characters. This is what the game in Lesson 1 is designed to help you avoid, is that problem with sustaining the momentum of the story from the beginning to the end. And it's a cool game, and it's fun, and it's easy, and I got a story out of just playing the game that, like 700 other stories that are on my hard drive right now, I want to write. But this is a doable, fixable thing, and not hard, and not frustrating even. So yeah, this is part of what we'll be covering. Okay. All right, and it looks like we have run out of questions, and I don't have the live stream, so I can't see But the reason that you're not getting horrible sounds is because I don't get the live stream. So I figured I discovered that was the problem. So, does anybody else have a question? And while I am waiting for that, I will show you Sheldon, who is asleep. Right there. Psst. Hey, you want a treat? Hi. Come on up here. You want a treat? Yes. I will pour out my cat on live video. Hey, are you ready? Okay, there you go. That's a way. Sheldon, who hangs out with me and keeps me company all day during work. Okay, what if people start thinking of better ideas while writing? Oh, okay, yes. Finish. The process of writing novels teaches you how to have better ideas, but the process of finishing novels teaches you how to finish novels. And you cannot finish a novel. The best, better idea in the world is not worth stopping and restarting and losing the process of learning how to finish. Because without finishing the novel, you don't have anything. Yeah, an unfinished novel is just words on a page or words on a screen. A finished novel is a thing that can be read and can be held and can be cherished and can be published and shared with other people. So when you have a better idea, write it down and go back to what you're writing. Okay, and Sarah says, will the first lesson help us expand our idea if it isn't fully developed? Yes, it will. The trick with the first lesson is that it is so tempting to expand it to where you will end up with something that is going to take 500,000 words to write, that one of the things I am showing you how to do is not how to expand it too much. Because this is a very cool technique and a very cool process, but yeah, you can get really big, deep, convoluted, multi-generational saga ideas from this. So mostly the problem is going to be how not to run over. Okay, let's see. Romance Fantasy says, one last question. I signed up for How to Write a Series. Can I still take this course too? Sure. Absolutely. And oh, yeah, I guess that is a valid question. If you are working through something right now and you want to get the course at the introductory price, but you're not ready to take it then, that's fine. I have and as long as the site is there, you will own your classes and always have access to them and not have to buy them again. When I do an update or anything, unless I do an out-of-version update. And the only class for which I have done an out-of-version update was How to Write Series, which went from being a 3 or 4 lesson video class to being just ungodly long, because it turned out that I hadn't covered all the stuff that needed to be covered. Everything else, and that there were still people who got that class for $49. So because I wanted to honor the upgrade price, or the previous owner price. So if you want to get the class now, or get the class when it goes live next week, and just hang on to it and come in and do it later, you can do that, and you can do that as often as you want. You have permanent access, with permanent being, well, the internet is still there, and everybody's still breathing, and, aside from that, yes. Okay. Okay, and no. Okay, I've got one question that looks like it's coming in. Give me just a second here. I don't want to close too soon and leave any questions unanswered. Okay, yes. Can you expand about whether the class will cover the difference between, and this is Jennifer, I'm sorry. Can you expand about whether the class will cover the difference between the end of a standalone and the end of a first series, first in a series novel. Okay, well, yeah, I can show you what not to do, because the objective of this class is to write a standalone novel. I can show you how to avoid the many, many series errors that it is possible to create, how to actually come up with a solid ending. And if you are planning on writing for commercial publication, it is very important that your first book have a standalone ending, even if you wanted to write in that world as a series. Sometimes they won't buy a series, but they will buy a first novel. And then if the world does well, they will build out from there, but you have to have a real ending first. So yeah, that is one of the things we will definitely do. Okay, also, is there a deadline for when we can purchase mass content offer? Not really. We might make it, a few years out, because not everybody is going to finish their novel at the same time, and even if they did, he wouldn't be able to do however many novels we have simultaneously. He can only do them already about 1 week. So I don't really think we're going to have a deadline for this. You will have to save your receipts, and it will be very helpful if you have some of your worksheets from having done lessons so that we can tie it to the book. But aside from that, no, not really. That's if you're in the first class, I don't see us having a deadline. If we do have a deadline, and I do reserve the right to add a deadline, at some later date, it will be at least 2 years from the start of this class, and probably considerably longer than that, simply because, it's going to take some time. And I have no idea yet how many people are going to take the class in this first group. Okay. Oh, yes, it is very, very important that you understand that Matt's offer is only for the folks who are buying between, and let me check my calendar again so I don't screw this up, who buy the course between what is tentatively scheduled right now as the 13th of September and the 3rd of October, 2018. That is the only group. Now, I will have some other early bird classes as folks come back, and because I know some people cannot get the class right now, and will still want to take it, and are still members of the site and stuff like that, and want to get it. So there will be a slightly higher early bird class price in maybe a month or two, but this is the only class for which the Matt Content Edit bonus is available. Okay, and let's see, I think I've got another question here. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I will not open the class until the first lesson is available, which is why I'm saying tentatively the 13th. Like I said, I have it almost done, but if for some reason I don't have it done by the 13th, then I will hold off the deadline, or I will hold off the launch until I finish it, because yes, you will get the first lesson the day you go in, and then I will do my best to write the lessons at a pace of 1 week per lesson. And again, with the Splinters class, we understand going in, you and me both, that life intrudes, and it will intrude for you, and it may intrude for me, and there might be lessons where I am late delivering the lesson. And you will still get it, but you will not get it until it's done. So I did have to think sideways on one lesson per week for a lot of lessons. It was less than the current number, but and I managed to make all but like 2 deadlines. I'm pretty good at this, but I am not infallible, and I do want to emphasize that there might be some lessons that are late. Okay. What's the difference between How to Think Sideways, which also teaches novel writing? How to Think Sideways teaches novel writing in the way that Again, can't come up with a good analogy here. No, it's not, the class is not about novel writing. It's about thinking. And it is about developing the thought processes that allow you to build yourself a writing career. And it uses building a novel as the demo for thought processes. But it's not about writing a novel. This class is only about writing a novel. It's not about your career in any way. It's not about marketing. It's not about revision. It's not about anything else but the single sole topic of how do I sit down and stand up 35 weeks from now with a 50,000 word completed first draft book. And the processes for that are entirely different than the processes of using novel writing to teach thinking about a career. And it works. I mean, the processes that I use to demonstrate that will get you various fiction using how to think sideways. But again, that's not what the class is about. All right. Several people wanted to, okay, that was it. Do you cover, Beck says, do you cover the quality of work? What if I feel like everything sucks? Oh, yes. The way you succeed is by failing and then getting up and trying again. So this is one of the things we covered in the podcast the other day, which is failure is the necessary first step to success in anything. And if you are not willing to fail, you cannot succeed. So the 100% of the folks who do not try and allow themselves to fail on their way to getting better will fail 100% of the time. Whereas, yeah, your book might suck. The first book you ever write might suck. God knows mine surely did. And after I learned how to, but I finished it. And knowing that I could finish it made it possible for me, after 7 years of figuring out how to revise the damn thing, how to write one that sold the first time out to the first place I sent it in 30 days. So, you know, and there is no guarantee that will happen for anybody else. I don't even know if anybody reads their submission boxes in that speed anymore. But your first novel very well might suck, but it is revisable. There is nothing that cannot be fixed. I fixed that terrible, terrible first novel to the point that I actually had a guy who was willing to buy it from me. And if I had been willing to sell it for $500 to a guy who published airplane novels for airports, then that would have been my first sale. I wasn't, but I did revise it to a point where somebody was willing to pay for it. So anything can be fixed. And just about any book can have a market. And you just might not want to sell the book to the market that's willing to buy it. But your next one will be better. And the one you write after that will be better yet. And it took me over 100 fails before I had any idea that I might be doing something right. I had this big shoebox full of books, or full of rejection slips, and I had more than 100 by the time I sold the very first two things I sold, which were 2 sonnets. I know people get tired hearing this story, but I mean, how many people start their professional writing career by selling 2 sonnets, real sonnets, to a science fiction magazine? And that's where I started. So, you know, I like that story. I think it's fun. Okay, let me see. I've got more questions here. Can I take the course and write a novel in my spare time? Yes, absolutely. You don't even have to stay up with the class. This is entirely self-paced. I am doing it with the hopes that you will be able to keep up with the pace and write I don't know, a couple hundred words a day, or 750 words 2 days a week. But if you can't, and again, I understand, life intrudes, the class will wait, the lessons will wait. If you have an emergency, if you have a family thing, if you have a couple of weeks where you're going to the Bahamas to have an awesome vacation and you don't want to take homework with you, yeah, it will wait. It will just sit there and be there, and when you come back, it will be there for you. And you just pick up where you left off, and you go on. Okay. Let's see. Questions are done. Okay. All right. So I hope that this has been fun, and we ran pretty long, and I apologize deeply for the very rough start this had. Now I at least know that I cannot have the chat open and be looking at the feeds while I am doing the chat, or we get terrible sound. So next time should be a little smoother, and I am figuring there will be a next time, because this was not as bad as it could have been. Thank you for coming, and one more time, the links for the show are on the page, and just go to howtowriteanovelclass.com. You can download the class PDF, which has the correct date on it now. I didn't realize I had the wrong date on it before. And it has links and other things in it that you should find useful, and it also has a complete description of what's in the class. And I have enjoyed this, and I hope you have too. Thank you.